To infinity and beyond. These are Buzz Lightyear's famous words, but they are so applicable in Malaysia's political context because even if we look to infinity and beyond, there we will see the endless splitting of Malay politics. So Poops, the only reason we are having this conversation is that Malaysia has a very adversarial political system. Because colonialism, divide and conquer, so it goes, therefore the country was split up in Chinese, Malay, Indian, in a toxic mix that has only been getting worse over time. Some members of our community like talking about how they are oppressed, victimized. They don't have any more influence in this country. While, by the way, they look at their politics as the most important thing in the world. One of the things that our politicians love saying is that all the Malays must unite. This they hold as eternal truth. While all these people sing their racist song, yell out "Pendatang" at the top of their voices, thinking that if only they were successful, then all of the world's problems would be solved. World hunger will be gone, every child will have clean water, we will all live in a land of milk and honey. Bersatu, teguh, bercerai, roboh. So the old phrase goes. But one of the most interesting parts of that has been the way that Malay politics has been splitting and splitting over the course of time. Where you start with UMNO, then it gives rise to PAS, then Semangat 46 when people fight with one another, Anwar gets sacked, boom, then there's Keadilan, Bersatu comes about, then Pejuang, Muda is somewhere in the middle of it, Mahathir wants to pass down the bag to his son and thus GTAN. In every single time, the Malay vote splits, and people end up complaining even further that they are weakening, getting oppressed, losing influence in their own land. Now you may remember that there was a time when there was an unholy alliance. PAS, Bersatu, Muhyiddin and Hamza, best friends forever, now apparently worse enemies. New party, and everyone standing on the verge of we're never getting back together. Either way, they are all splits town as Bersama comes into the picture. Isn't it fascinating that all these people talk about loving one another and uniting with one another so much, but actually they are not dividing one another? And if they're not dividing one another, then they are blaming one another over and over again about how everybody else is responsible for the problems that they are facing and somebody needs to be accountable, but it's never them. No, it's always somebody else's fault. Remember that we have Jati Diri. Kalau kami bersama, then even the British Empire cannot bring us down. Or something like that. While they create a million different enemies inside their heads, saying bangsa lain yang menjadi masalah dalam negara ini. Rejoice when people leave the country because they can't stand this sort of schizophrenia anymore, only to later fall into depression. You know, I really never understood this mentality, but yet somehow or another, the ketuanan kami hebat mentality just continues. It's pretty much just the human ego running itself down into the ground. Like, you one face so much that everything is about a game of chicken and playing with your ego and running as far forward as you possibly can. As long as you save your face, it doesn't matter if I'm leading only a sampan, at the very least I'm leading it. Which frankly I think is sad. You know, the universe of playing victim and falling is very wide, meaning that something like this can get very much worse before it even gets better. And you really don't want to know how much worse it can get, but yeah, it can get like pretty bad. And I don't know how much more these people are going to split. It's not like we want them to split, but it is almost as if it is their own nature to backstab, go behind one another's backs, backstab again and again and again, betray one another and say, do you know that we love one another for being Malays? Let's all get back together again before the old same game is played. I don't understand. I don't think they understand either, but they are just in denial because they can't say that their Malaysia is falling apart. Wow, it is so sad. Like watching a dying patient refuse to believe that he is sick even up until the end. But as far as I know, all that splitting is gonna continue and continue and continue and continue. The victim playing is gonna continue as well. Lord knows what the result is going to be, but probably a part of it is gonna be a lot of these people saying that it's not our fault, it's yours. Well, what do you think, Saboops? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. That's all I have to say about that, and bye.